All right, so this might just be my favorite aspect of HoneyBook, and it's the first feature that I utilized when I set up my HoneyBook account years ago. Now, full transparency, back in the day, I wasn't even using Acuity. I would manually find an agreeable time with a client via email or over the phone. I would then create a Zoom link, send it back to them. I would send them my phone number if they couldn't log into the Zoom, and there was so much back and forth until I reminded myself that a big benefit of using HoneyBook is that you actually can use their native scheduler right here. So what you're looking at is the back end of the scheduler. If you've ever used Acuity or Calendly, it's very similar in setup nature. I can create a new session. As simple as this. Sample, I can click the session type. So if it's a video session and it's a Zoom call, it actually will automatically generate the Zoom link and the information once the session is scheduled. You can actually integrate Zoom in the back end in the settings, and it just does it for you, which is super great. I can then find my time zone, set the duration. I could say that I want folks to be able to book maybe 2 months out. I can pick a color. I can then also say that if this is, let's have it be a sample like mini session. So I'm a photographer, I'm doing like a mini session. It's 30 minutes, like headshots. And I want people to be able to book between now and 2 months from now, because who knows, maybe I'm gonna be on vacation in month 3. I can select to use the meeting date as the project date. Remember inside of the workspace where it showed the project name, the project type, and then a date? I can say that if this type of session is booked, we want the project date inside the workspace to reflect this date. This is super important because maybe there's a handful of different types of sessions that you book with a client, right? The use case for me as a designer would be a free discovery call. Now that wouldn't really be the start of a project. I might have that discovery call and then figure out that my clients need a done in a day HoneyBook solution or a logo project that's going to start 2 months from now. I'd rather have the project date reflect one of those options as opposed to the discovery call. So HoneyBook gives you that flexibility to make sure that any of your automations or interactive fields are accurate. For the purposes of this sample, I'll click on this. You can then have instructions. So you could say, please remember to bring your smiles, right? You can include any information that will help invitees to be prepared for the session. You can then send out email or text message reminders. I do a standard day and 1 hour. Then you set your availability. For me, I just pick the day and time window. So let's say I don't want to do any mini sessions on Monday. I can remove it. Let me actually select remove and then hit save. I then applied it to all the Mondays moving forward, right? So what I like to do is set the parameters in here. And then I don't like to worry about things week to week because HoneyBook allows you to integrate with Google Calendar or another calendar software. So for me, I set the big windows such as I, want to be able to book mini sessions on, let's say, Tuesdays and Thursdays between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. That's all I do. I don't go in here and change my availability week to week. All I would do is go into my calendar. For me, I use Google, and then say that I'm away for, next week, as date I'm recording this, January 29th through February 4th, I would mark myself as busy, and these options would not show up for the client. So it's super easy to just set the window parameters inside of HoneyBook and then allow your actual calendar to dictate your availability. So speaking of availability, we're allowed to actually set buffers, like the amount of time that we want to block off for clients, minimum notice, aka you can't book a call with me day of. It has to be at least 24 hours in advance, right? So we might want to change this to, 1 day. Custom increments, aka what people see, 30-minute, 5-minute, etc. And are any team members allowed to be scheduled into this session. Next is confirmations, all pretty standard. So we can hit save, and then this generates a live link. Now I can actually click this and send this to a lead that I met at a networking event. I can text them this link. I can have this be the button that exists on my Squarespace website. I could also send this in an email out to some past clients and say, hey, I'd love to reconnect. And now they have the session link. A project will be initiated once an action has been taken. So they don't only have to enter into your world through a contact form, they could actually schedule a session with you and it would still operate the same way. That scheduled session would trigger the workspace to be created, right? Super cool. I love the HoneyBook scheduler feature. You can also see your calendar inside of HoneyBook right here. And if you ever need to make any changes, let's click this one. I can edit it. I can also, change the name, hit update. I can also come back to it and delete it. And then I can also notify the client or not notify the client. Super helpful. All right, so next up, I want to walk through templates. Now that we've gotten folks into our pipeline, our workspace has been created. Can I speak today? A workspace has been created. We had our discovery call. Now what do? We need to send an invoice or a proposal, or better yet, a contract. So let's walk through Smart Files and templates now.